Hey everybody, this is Daryl. Welcome back to Disc Golf Chat. I almost messed up the name of my own podcast. Robbie, thanks for joining us this week.
Honor to be here, y'all.
Sensation, I will call you.
Yeah.
There are definitely YouTubers out there who are way better at literally everything about their lives than I am. But, I am grateful to have people watch and grateful to be here tonight.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well,
Todd, what have you been up to the last, I don't know, how many years since you were last on?
Dude, I finally got to play today. Being newly married since July 10th, have a few other priorities that seem to be taking place of my previous girlfriend, disc golf. So disc golf is upset with me. But no, everything's going good.
D-Rock. What's up, Derek?
Just working, baby.
Yeah, had a rough day. Arthritis was kicking my butt today, so playing video games all day. But it was a good day. It was a good day. Tonight, all day I was thinking, what am I going to do later today? And I'm like, I got the podcast tonight. Get to talk about all the fun stuff.
Been looking forward to it all day.
Come on, y'all. Same with me, just banging in plank after plank on the floor. And next thing you know, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm really looking forward to hanging out and actually talking about disc golf today. Because for the past 5 days, it's been, oh, man, I'd really like to go play. But I'd also like to sleep in my own room. So
get it done.
You got to have priorities, man.
Yeah.
All right. Where do you guys want to start at tonight? I've got a big list of stuff, but wherever you guys want to start is where we can begin.
You got a whole list?
Pick it up.
You just made the list.
What about getting to know Robbie?
Hey, Robbie.
Yeah.
This is really the first time we've actually met. We've messaged for the last week or so.
Yeah.
And one day I was watching their videos. I was like, you know what? He's helped me a lot, especially putting. That's where I've got the most help with your videos.
Come on.
I tried to do the putt with the one leg out. That does not work at all for me. I've got other things that's really helped me. So tell me about Robbie, first of all. Where did your love for the game begin and all that good, fun stuff?
Yeah, so I come from an Ultimate Frisbee background. I started playing Ultimate in high school. So that would have been, I'll show my age here as one of, I'm guessing, the younger guys in the room, and that's okay. I started, I would say, Todd, you might be, I don't know, how old are you, Todd?
32.
Okay, yeah, so I'm 29, so just a couple years younger.
I'm 18.
And right. There it is. It's the salt and pepper look is good. Never can get that too early. So yeah, I started playing Ultimate in early 2000s, and then carried it through high school. Played in college, played for my college club team, and just started realizing that I was not going to be in that kind of shape for the rest of my life. And also was noticing that my knees and my joints were not loving that sport. So my oldest brother, I have two older brothers. My oldest brother moved to Indiana and discovered disc golf. And I came up one day and he knew that I loved Ultimate and was like, dude, you got to play disc golf. And so we went out and he handed me a Innova starter set. And I tried to throw them and I hated it. I was like, this is atrocious. So I just used an Ultimate Frisbee lid and started trying to score better than my brother. And on shorter holes, that was a great mission. But I got really mad that I could smoke my brother with an Ultimate Frisbee, but he was throwing these little disc golf discs all over my face and just bombing them compared to an Ultimate disc. And I was like, I don't know. So I got back to college when semester started, and a couple of my friends who were really close, they said, hey, we learned this new thing over the summer. It's called disc golf. We should all go do it. And at that point, I'm a hobbyist at heart. So I was like, all right, cool. I guess I'm a disc golfer now because they're disc golfers. And so I started playing disc golf in 2013. And I didn't change a single thing about my form until 2018. So I played for 5 solid years, and I'm talking like 2013 to late 2014. I was playing like 5 to 7 times a week, like 5 to 7 rounds a week. We were playing multiple times a day. So I just developed these terrible habits that were so bad that I'm still trying to overcome today. And what it did was the heart of Robbie C Disc Golf channel was, man, I really don't want other people to suffer like I did in terms of not knowing you can fix things about your form, because it makes sense when you look at like golf. If you're slicing the ball, you're doing something wrong. But in disc golf, we just think if we show up and want it more, great, we're going to be a better player. And so I really wanted to, and like I said, I'm a hobbyist, so I became a student of the game, really started studying a lot of the disc golf YouTubers and form and breaking down what pros were doing, and just kind of like loving learning the game. I love to learn anything I can. And so started learning, and I have a passion for teaching. I was a pastor for about 10 years and have a passion for teaching, have a passion for students and the next generation. And so when I think of the next generation of disc golf, it's beginners. And I don't see why we shouldn't invest in beginners. So if I can help people fall in love with the sport, everyone loves the game more when you suck less. Like when you are not that bad, it's way more fun. So my goal is to help all of us be a little less bad, myself included.
Yep. It's funny because I have that same kind of passion for knowledge, and for me, I'm very analytical about things. It's very much so. I mean, I used to teach martial arts to kids and watch them grow up, and I was like, man, that's really cool to see, you know, the next generation grow up. And me, I'm 49. I'm not 18. I know you're shocked right now, but but I'm just starting again for the second time. I first started in around 2000, somewhere between 2005 and 2008. And we always played at Peaksview Park here in Lynchburg, Virginia. And hole 10 made me quit because it's got a little slight hill, and it would go down, and the disc would go into this pond. Back then, it had more water in it than it does now. And after I think I played like 10 rounds approximately, I think I lost like 7 discs. And
this is supposed to be cheaper than golf. I keep losing more plastic.
Exactly. I told one of my friends, like, if this disc goes down in that water, I am done right now. Caught an edge, hold down in there, and I was like, that's it, I'm done. And I didn't play a long time until this guy over here, he asked me, what, last year? Did we play one time last year?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It wasn't long after my hip replacement, and it was the first thing I did, you know, trying to throw a disc after a hip replacement. It doesn't work too well.
I feel that.
But I kind of got that passion, and it's funny, I had been watching some videos before that, some tournament stuff, and I got hooked. And now I can't stop watching it. I can't stop trying to play. It hasn't improved much, but I'm doing a little bit better.
Well, I mean, if you're confident in your learning, honestly, I think people underestimate how much confidence plays into playing better. Just 100%. If you're on the putting green and you're more confident, the odds of that putt going in are way better.
Yep.
If you're on the tee box and you're thinking to yourself, man, I really don't want to throw into the water over there. You know where you're mentally aiming is at the water, because all you're thinking about is the water. So shot well executed when you throw it straight in the drink. Just unfortunately not the shot you should have tried to execute, one of those deals. So
what do you do, Robbie, about that mental side of the game? I think that's one of my biggest problems is especially when I'm playing at a league, like a weekly. It's just people watching or whatever. I've never been more embarrassed when I'm always like lower last place, you know, on the weeklies. I mean, maybe mid, sometimes in the middle. But yeah, man, just like when I look at a 15-footer or a 20-footer, easy makeable putts. I mean, I'll sink it, I'll hit the cage. It's just, do you have any videos? I haven't been able to watch like all your stuff. I just subscribed to you like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, man. So when it comes to like we'll say a 15-foot putt. So one of my big things that I teach is the comfort circle. So the comfort circle is this idea that when you draw a circle around the basket, our comfort circle is where we believe we can make 85 to 90% of our putts. Now, that comfort circle for most people, if you ask them what their comfort circle is, they're like, oh, 20 feet, 15 feet, whatever. Most of the time, the actual answer for that is like 10 feet or 8 feet. Yeah. And that's okay. Where a lot of people struggle is they get embarrassed about how big their comfort circle is. And so when you get outside of that comfort circle, you almost try to fake it. And when you're faking it, then you're putting on all of, like, you can fake it to everyone outside, but it literally doesn't matter, because on the inside, like you're talking about on this 15-foot putt, you're probably thinking to yourself, like, all right, I'm closing it out. I don't want to be the 138 tag here at League this week. I want to be in the 50s, right? And I know that if I miss this putt, I'm dropping 20 tags just for this one putt, and all this pressure builds. So what you got to do is, when you're practicing putting, you got to try to practice those scenarios. So you got to, whatever your routine is, establish that routine. My putting practice takes so long for me to actually get through the number of putts that I want to get through, because I know on my routine, if it's a 25-foot putt or longer, I'm doing 5 pumps of my arm. Like I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 every single time. And if it's 20 feet and in, I know it's 3 pumps. 1, 2, 3, and then I bring the disc up and I go 1, 2, and boom. And on the boom, like, no matter, once it hits the top and I start bringing the disc down, I'm literally, all I'm saying in my head, not the distance, not whatever, it's 1, 2, and boom, because I have practiced that motion and that release so many times. And then all the reason there's that extra pump on the 25-foot and longer is because I'm making sure that, all right, that's where I want to aim. That's where I want to aim. That sounds great. 1, 2, and boom. And it's in. And if I miss, what usually happens is I know, because I've done that motion so many times, I can know what I did wrong and adjust for future putts if I need to. But most of the time, it's not that, like, that routine makes you make everything, right? But because I step into that, I can eliminate the nerves of what happens if this putt misses, what happens if this, what. The only what is, how fast am I going to walk to pull this out of the basket? That's like the only question mark you should be asking yourself. And the only reason you get there is because in your practice, a lot of people will get like a fat stack of discs, and they'll walk up and they're just like, all right, time to practice putting. I heard that I need to practice 200 putts a day. Bang, 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 bang.
That's what I do.
And then they get to the course, and no one, unless you're like, I can't even think of a pro that walks up and is just like, all right, here's my bang. Right? Like, we all go into routines. So the mental side of things truly is practicing to find your comfort. The more you practice routines, the more you can just take those routines to the course. I'll answer this one last thing, and then I'm a real tangential, so I can go on soapboxes all day. But a great example is, I've got massive routines for putting, like you just heard. I've got similar routines for upshots, but for a long time, my tee shots were all over the place. And I didn't realize it until I posted a video on my channel of me playing a tournament round. And I have one, when I'm playing like competitive rounds, I keep one earphone in and I listen to music very low, because I like to be a member of the card, an active member of the card, things like that. And I hate people who are like, double headphones in, forget all of you, it's just me in the course, that's what I'm here for. Like, you are the worst kind of person. I hate playing with people like that. So I don't like to be that person. I like to be the person that you're on my card and everyone's saying, like, I want to play with that guy again. But if I have bad thoughts enter my head, I literally dance while I like to get out of the mood. So I will walk away from my lie, jig, for like 10 seconds, go back up, start my routine again, and get that negative thought away. But on tee boxes, I would do that sometimes if I had a negative thought, but I didn't have any routines. And so I would just shank things probably 30% of the time and be like, oh, I don't know what went wrong. And I had a YouTube comment say, hey, Robbie, you have routines for this, this, and this, but you don't have routines for your tee shots. Why? So I spent a month just building a routine on tee shots. And now when I mess up a tee shot, I'm like, oh, that's what happened. But you got to get in the practice rounds where it doesn't matter and build those routines. So,
dude, I'm missing. Yeah, I haven't been doing that where you do the actual putting routine for every single putting rep. You usually like do it for the first one, and then it's like throw and then throw,
yeah,
and then
bang,
throw
bang, bang.
for like 5 or 6 putts. Yeah.
Robbie, one of the things that you posted in one of your putting videos that really helped me, because I would go out there and you were just saying, I'm sitting there holding like 4 discs and I'm putting, but when you're on a course, you walk up to with one disc, and I was like, man, that seems obvious. Just go out there and you practice putt the way you're actually playing. So you're playing with one disc, and you got to walk back and forth. But
and like when I'm playing practice rounds, most of my friends know that like it takes me a little longer, but I will always putt twice from anywhere that I'm putting, even during practice rounds. And even when I do that, I know that I'm slowing people down, but I'm a 1 disc putter. And some people like do the double disc thing where like, you like hold the putter with one hand and like do that junk. I don't do that. And I have no problems with people that do that. But since I don't do this, even when I'm doing like one practice, like my first putt during a normal practice round, I'll just toss this putter to the side so that I can do my routine with 1, 2, and boom, bend over, reset my feet, 1, 2, and boom. And, if people waste a lot of time on a course, not actually getting better.
I appreciate
we just play. And there's nothing wrong with playing to like just play. That's fine. But if you really are looking to take that like next step in your game, and especially as a newly married guy, I remember that day. I've only been married for 4 years. I remember when, I want to go to the course, but what if I leave my wife sitting at home? Like, she's going to hate me. So I feel bad going to play this round. So I just got to burst through it. So if you went from 4 rounds a week to 1 round a week, take full advantage of that 1 round. And I promise it's going to add 20 minutes to your round, maybe. But the 20 minutes is going to be way more impactful than just powering through.
Good stuff.
Especially in leagues, because if you're playing weeklies, you understand how much slower those go than like a normal casual round.
Yeah.
And that also messes with people. I've got a friend who plays super fast solo, and then he gets into a league setting and just falls apart because he doesn't play slow.
It's all about rhythm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I have people from work I play with, and we can get a round done in 35 minutes. And to get with other people or whatever, when it takes a couple hours, completely screws me up.
Amen.
I mean, the other day we were playing, there's a group in front of us, and he was like, come on.
Yeah. So are y'all all in the Lynchburg area?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep.
I didn't realize that Lynchburg was slowly trying to become the disc golf capital of the world, but
County.
you guys are getting some talent in there, and yeah, that's awesome. How is that?
Within like 15 miles of where I am, there's probably 6, 7, 8 courses.
That's awesome.
Yeah, probably more than.
Yeah, I mean, they're popping up all over the place.
Have y'all gotten to play that new one Paul built that's like crazy hard?
Yeah.
I refuse to speak of that place.
It's definitely brutal. It's
very humbling.
Played it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, it is a true pro course. It is so tight. And me being again hip replacement stuff. They have a 10-hole loop that I played, and it's brutal.
Dude, I love it. I'm call me a masochist, call me whatever you want. I love those types of courses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like my favorite course in town. I don't know how familiar y'all are with ratings and whatnot. But my favorite course in town even is 1,000 rated. Like you shoot that. So for reference, on the Pro Tour, they just did Northwood Blacks a couple weeks ago at Ledgestone.
Yep.
And even there was like 1040, 1050 rated or something like that.
Wow.
So every 10 points of rating is basically a stroke. So like that course played 4 to 5 strokes harder than the course that I like playing. And people are like, yeah, I'm not going to play Inverness with you. I hate playing Inverness. And my thought is, if you can hit a line on a tight wooded course like that, then when you step out to a wide open course, the lines are the exact same. You just get punished less. So if you can learn to hit those lines, suddenly you feel like you can do anything you want on the open courses. You just got to hate yourself enough to like hitting trees. I'm from Birmingham. So we've got a lot. We only have about 1 or 2 pro level courses in town, I would say. We have a lot of friendly amateur courses, and we have several beginner friendly courses. So cool. It's one of those, like I have 10, within 10 to 15 minutes of me, I have 2 solid courses, but within 25 minutes of me, I've got probably 10 different tracks to play. So it's a nice setup for running a disc golf YouTube channel. I would definitely, if we moved, have to think about that before we moved, because I would not be want to be the guy who records disc golf content on the same course every single time.
I will tell you one reason I haven't recorded on disc golf courses is because there are so many people that have recorded on the courses that we play. So it's like, I don't want to just, do the same thing that they do. And they do it really, really well.
Yeah.
Because you got Paul Macbeth around here, Brody. He just moved up here.
The
Foundation Disc Golf.
Yep.
Those guys are up here. So it's like, you know what? I'll talk about it. I won't actually show it.
But see, I'll tell you, that's one thing I try to, if people were to ask me like, hey, Robbie, I want to run a disc golf YouTube channel, what should I do? I tell them, like, what are you offering that's not currently out there? So like the Bogey Bros, for instance, lots of their rounds they do on the course are like goofy challenge rounds. So they do like the all sports battle or something like that. And there's a lot of people that do that content, and it's great content. Like I watch all their videos. Love it. The scuba video they just did is incredible. I would recommend that to literally anyone watching if you want to learn how to throw that shot. But there's not someone in the Lynchburg scene that I'm aware of who is showing what does it look like for an amateur player to play these courses. So we're seeing Paul Macbeth and Brody step up, and like, I don't know what course it is, but I know that hole 1, there's like a pavilion to your right, and you throw straight down, and the basket is like between 2 trees. And it seems like, so like they play that one, and then hole 2 like is the little rolling hills, and you just throw like a big bomb. It's par 4. I don't know that course, but I feel like I know that course because I've seen so many people play it. But the only people I've seen play it bomb.
Right.
So I have no actual perspective on what the course actually plays like, because all you see are pros play. It's the same thing if you go to like an Idlewild or anything like a pro tour course. You step up and you're like, oh yeah, it's super casual, and then they just bomb. Great example, hole 1 at in Jonesboro, this side of heaven. Like, how many times do we see people that are like, yeah, I threw a fairway driver, it's 420 feet. Like, okay, first off, I hate you. Second, they all make that hole look super short. Played a tournament there. It's unreal, y'all. Like, it is so far. It is so far. And they're just like, oh, yeah. Wild.
Yeah, I was talking to Todd before we started. Trevor from Foundation, hole 3 at Peaksview, it's only like 100 and some feet. I max out at like 200 feet if I really get a hold of one.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's where my game is. And I've learned this. Stay in your lane. You know where your lane is.
Amen.
Where it's at. And he threw one on it. He threw it like 30 feet long. He was like, I only gave it 10%. I was like, I hate you so much. I throw 100%. I'm barely getting there.
Man.
But at the same time, I was like, this is where my game is. I know where it's at. And I'm okay with it.
Absolutely, man.
Now that course is a par 3 course. The longest hole plays probably like about 320.
Okay.
Kind of uphill and a little bit of a turn. Probably, I mean, about that. When you guys say 17 is about that?
17 is, yeah, it's just an uphill. Yeah, so 320 is probably about right. It's like my max.
Yeah.
As far as I can get it.
For me, it's a legit bogey hole. So I know this is where I am. If I get a bogey, that's like my par. If I get a par, that's like a birdie. So I'm like
100%.
Okay with it.
That's a great play. That's a great way to view the course. Is once again, like I said, stay in your lane. Know that, hey, I shouldn't be upset about a bogey. And when you can like start accepting that, it is so freeing, and you score so much better because you don't try to do stupid stuff to like, well, oh my gosh, I might get a par here. Here we go. Only if I throw a Sky Anheuser roller and it rolls on the perfect angle and curls up, then I get it. No. Like lay it up, take your bogey, walk away. And then you're not frustrated and carry that into the next hole. That's what people don't think about.
Let me say one thing, that Derek, you have been very quiet. Let me just say this one thing. One thing that I have learned, and I've really implemented it the last few rounds, is I give myself after a shot 10 seconds. 10 seconds. If it's a good shot, 10 seconds of happiness before I think, what do I have to do on the next shot?
Yeah.
Or 10 seconds of pure anger. And then get it out of your head. Say, okay, what do I have to do on the next shot? That's one of the things that has really helped me out a lot. Is just say, you know what? I got 10 seconds. Then breathe. Now, what do you got to do on the next shot to get where you want to be?
I love it.
And that's helped me out a lot.
Well, the problem I have with that theory, Daryl, not 100%. Your 10 seconds of self-praise goes on into the next hole.
Hey, I'm just helping y'all. I'm trying to lift y'all up.
Your 10 seconds of angry, you're probably correct because usually I'm walking away. So, yeah. So, we can fudge the lines a little bit on your timeline, but it's all it is.
Don't you ruin this for me, sir. Don't you ruin this for me.
Hey, I am a day older than you. I can say that.
That's legitimate. He literally 1 day older than me, born in the same hospital. 1 day.
Come on. Destined to be friends.
Our moms were in the same. Yeah, we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
But nah, I mean, that's tough though. Yeah, we've talked about it 100 times about the mentality of the game and what you actually. It's like going to work. You work or you bring work home. You know, it affected your whole life. Same thing on the course. You know, if I screw up hole one, of course, there's days that I can screw up hole one and I just do phenomenal after that. The next day I screw up hole one and I'm still. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and yeah.
It's a mental challenge, and it's just like golf. It's just like fishing tournaments. When I used to fish tournaments, all kinds of things. It's a mental game. The mental. I say the mental play 80% of the hardest part of the game to me.
100%.
Yep.
I truly believe the mental game is what separates probably. I think the mental game alone pulls you out of an average player to a great player.
Right.
Yep.
And then once you learn the mechanics of that, you go from a great player to top tier.
Right.
So,
Because, yeah, there are people that throw better backhands, forehands, and putt better than me. But I don't often lose to those people because they ride their highs and they ride their lows. And I'm just like, all right, cool. That was a bummer of a hole. Here we go. Can't do anything about it now.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could also apply the the whole like when you play around and you don't really care as much. Sometimes you'll play better. Like when the last time before I got married, the last time I played was May 29th. I got married July 10th, and then me and Daryl played in August sometime for the first time in 3 months I had played disc golf, and I literally made a course record for my personal best at Sandusky Park. It was like 6 under. What did I get?
Yeah,
I was killing it.
5 or 6.
Killing it. So what do you explain? How do you explain that? Just mentally, I just was like having fun and
yeah. So I think there's 2 things that happen there. First, mentally, when you come back and you're like, I have no expectations of, I haven't played in 3 months. I don't expect to shoot well. In fact, when you're playing a lot, you expect to play well, right? So like I'm a well-oiled machine at this point. So the expectation side of thing is huge. I would tell anyone going into their first tournament, because everyone tried to tell me the same advice when I played my first event. If you go into your first tournament, just don't expect anything. And I was like, Joker, I'm so good at this game. I'm about to win my first tournament. I'm only playing the wreck. Yeah, like all these kids are terrible. I'm about to wipe the floor with them. And sure enough, came in second by a stroke and was like, well, bummer. This could have happened, and it was mine. Yeah. And so then I went into my next tournament with the expectation, well, if you wouldn't have made those stupid errors, you would have won. So this tournament is clearly yours. Came in like 8th place because I walked in expecting that I was a god. Well, that doesn't work. So expectations, huge. Walking in, I think that's probably why you shot the personal best, is why when people come back from a long break, expectations are so low that, yeah, cool. Like, let me just get out there and crush it, and usually do. The second thing that people don't think about is that when you are relaxed, your body is also relaxed. So when you're putting, if you are worried about missing the putt, or if I sail the basket, I'm going OB in the water behind the basket, or I'm going to hit the cage or roll away or whatever, yada, 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 bad, terrible thoughts. First off, get those away, do a little jig, come back to your putt. Second, when you do that, your muscles literally tighten down your arm and into your shoulder. And when they tighten, you pull it usually, which is why people miss super far right on right-handed putts and they sail to the basket. It's because their muscles are tight, so they yank off to the right, or they're tight, so you short it, and then that's why you bang into the cage or you go am side left. Like, it's that tightness in your body. So when you're loose and you're relaxed, you're like, all right, cool. Wow, wow, wow. And it goes right in the back. Like you're loose on the tee. Same thing if you're nervous on a tee shot. I hope this goes well. I really hope it goes well. Tighten. And then you don't throw the way that your body is meant to throw. Usually when you're stressed about a shot, that's why it's shorter of a throw. So that's an aspect of disc golf that a lot of people just forget about, truly, is that when you are stressed, your body literally reacts differently. I have never respected Ricky Wysocki more than when I heard that he practices stressful putts. He will literally like mentally stress himself out when he's practice putting sometimes, and then throw putts to figure out what his stress putt is, so that if he's in a stressful scenario like a playoff or something like that, he knows, well, my stress putt usually misses 3 links to the right. So I'm stressed and I can't get out of that mindset right now. So I'm going to aim 3 links to the left, throw my putt, and then bang, center chains.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's interesting.
But it goes back to what we talked about earlier of practice your routines.
Yeah.
And bada boom, bada bing. Like, because he's practiced even his out of normal experiences, he can walk in with that expectation. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's not from planet Earth.
I agree.
Hey, Todd.
Yo.
He's talking about practice, not the game.
Oh
You
boy,
talking about
Practice. Talk about practice.
You
We
talking
talking about the game.
this?
you couldn't hold it in, could you, Daryl?
I couldn't.
It's right
I
there.
couldn't.
It's right there.
Allen Iverson. You got to bring him into every conversation at some point in life.
Amen.
One of the questions I've had is I mentioned this to you, is the in-between distance shots.
Yeah.
Those are so hard for me because I never know how far I need to aim to the right because I know it's going to come back more because I'm not putting that same power behind it. And if there's something in the way on the right, now my head is like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. So I'm not personally a fan of trying to throw in between power shots. So I'm with you. Like I personally, I would love to never throw something at 60%.
Yep.
Because the disc no longer flies how it's supposed to at 60%. I'm not throwing a shot I'm familiar with. So the most common answer I would give people is disc down. Like if you have to throw a 60% power shot, take two or three levels of speed off the disc. If you're throwing an 8-speed T-bird or a 7-speed T-bird and you'd have to throw it at 60%, then step down to a mid-range like a Rock 3 or a Mako 3 or whatever you're throwing and throw that instead at 80 to 100% and let it carry rather than throwing the 60% shot. However, an easy way to think about this is that like when you throw at 60%, it's going to follow its natural flight pattern faster. So if you throw it on hyzer, then you can know that at 60%, it's going to hyzer harder. So it's not necessarily a matter of aiming it further right, but more so knowing that like that hyzer is going to land shorter. If that makes any sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like with less power, the disc wants to fly less. So if you aim it further right, then you're going to be short and off to the right if you throw it at that 60% power shot.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing you can do is, this sounds super odd, but if you really like are worried about disking down at that point, disc up and go faster. And so instead of throwing the 7-speed T-bird at 60%, like step up to the driver and throw it what feels like a chip shot at 40%. Because when you go way down on the power scale, because like 60% power shot, right? I feel like you're almost throwing a full power shot. Like it's a really hard angle to try to catch yourself on. But if you're throwing a distance driver at 30 to 40%, then you know that's a funky shot. And so you can throw that more reliably. And because it's a faster disc, when thrown incorrectly, they are also more reliably incorrect flyers. For instance, most human beings can't throw an Innova destroyer, but they keep a destroyer in their bag because they know if they pump it out to the right as a right-handed player on a backhand, it don't matter what it comes into. Hurricane Ida could come right at it. And when you pump that disc out to the right, she coming back left. And so distance drivers are super reliable. But a T-bird at 60%, if you throw it out right, sometimes it just decides like, hey, I'm a boss. I'm going to fly straight. And then it just flies straight. And you're like, what the heck, dude? Because at 60% power, you actually loosened your body a little bit and you put some pop on the disc. Then all of a sudden you didn't throw it in your normal poor form because your body was so loose. Everything just fired correctly. And you got some snap on the disc. It went super far straight. Whoops. But if you pull that destroyer out and you're like, I'm throwing this at 40%, and it's going to come back, that's fine. That's fine. Which
kind of brings me to this.
Yeah, go for it.
My go-to disc is because, again, my arm speed is so slow.
Yeah.
It's my Stingray.
Dude.
And apparently they have quit making these.
So they make them in DX plastic still. which is great because you have it in
DX.
DX.
Online, I can never find it.
Yeah, so I don't have it in my bag, but I have a disc in my bag that is my precious child. I talk about it kind of often in my videos.
Yep. I know this disc. I have seen it.
This pig is my precious child. She does everything. Literally, you could ask me to throw a shot with it, and I can make it happen. The only thing I can't make it happen is if I have to throw it over 300 feet. That's about its limitations. But anything inside of 300 feet, precious child can make it happen. The first disc that I ever bought was a Star Stingray. And that thing, like, I love that Stingray is your go-to because if I had this pig, my Stingray, and a putting putter, I literally don't care what course I play. I probably could shoot par. Like, I feel very confident in that statement.
Thankfully, I got two of them.
Yeah, it's awesome. So they make that Stingray, and then they make the Super Stingray, I think it's called. But the Super Stingray is a little more stable than that, but it's an option. If you want to stay in the Innova family,
you know
there
what?
There are alternatives.
Something that I want to ask you about it too, but go ahead and finish that.
Yeah. So if you want to stay in the Innova family, then you're going to be a little limited in terms of replacing the Stingray.
I don't care which ones I get.
But the Wombat 3 is my suggestion usually. If you've not tried a Wombat 3, it's readily available. They usually come, a lightweight Wombat 3 is going to fly like those Stingrays. So if you can find a Wombat 3 in the like 150 class, that's going to be a lot closer. The differences are the Wombat 3 has a bead. It's a little domier, but flight characteristics are very similar.
Nice.
So
one of the things we talked about last week is strictly on the course.
Yeah.
Sponsored players, they're basically obligated to use whatever they're sponsored with. Do you think that hinders their game by not being able to get a disc from other places?
Absolutely.
I think all of our bags are mixed bags.
Yeah. So there's pros and cons. The pros being, or the cons being, absolutely, you are limited. There is not a single manufacturer who makes the best disc in every category.
Right.
Like, if we think about like the most classic putter of all time is the Avr. The most classic, most popular mid-range most classic mid-range, someone might say a Rock, but the most common answer I would say is the Buzz. People love the Buzz. It's there. Fairway driver, you can go about 8 billion different directions with that. Some would say the T-Bird. Some would say, there's just a ton of options for fairway drivers. Distance driver, the Destroyer takes the cake just because when every other person leaves Innova to go to another sponsor, the first thing they look for is the Destroyer replacement. They're looking for that 12, 5, -1, 3. Like, everyone has their version of that. You can find the Destroyer mold in everything else. Overstable approach discs. The zone is very tough to beat, but there are options to the zone. You have people like Westside trying to come out with a zone clone, right? Like, there's all sorts of replications that exist. So you are at a disadvantage only throwing one mold. But the bonus is that when you only have one manufacturer that you're dealing with, and Steven just commented about the whole all Trilogy bag. The beauty of Trilogy is that you get 3 different companies that you get to throw with if you're a Dynamic, Westside, or Latitude sponsor player. And none of those 3 companies actually require you to throw strictly their bag. In fact, most of them don't even put limits in terms of you have to be 60%. If you're a Dynamic sponsored player, you have to have 60% Dynamic in your bag. They should, but that doesn't currently exist. And most of them in agreements with the sponsors just fall into that. But Rabbit Trail. When it comes to staying with one manufacturer, I think there is a benefit Two, plastic familiarity in your hand. So I remember watching last week. I know y'all had talked about some of you throw a lot of Prodigy and like as well. So when you have all this different plastic in your hands, it all feels different for sure. I could tell you that 400 plastic in Prodigy feels like Star plastic, which feels like ESP plastic, which feels like all this different stuff, right? So is that a 300, 350?
This is the PA4. It is a 300.
300. So 300 should feel like DX plastic. It should feel like baseline anything, right? But it doesn't. So when you have your bag built and you only are dealing with one type of plastic and all of that plastic beats in the same way, you have consistency that you don't get with a mixed bag. So when your hand goes in to reach for your distance driver and it's Prodigy, and then you go to put that in, and then you go to pull your fairway driver out and it's Discraft, and you go to put that back and you pull out your mid ranges and they're all Innova, your hand is confused on why certain things feel that way. That's why pros throw as many discs in the same molds that they can, because they have 7 destroyers that all do the same thing, or that do different things. But when they pick up a distance driver, it's a destroyer. Their hand knows what a destroyer feels like. So as an amateur, if you don't have, like, as an amateur, people chase sponsorships all the time because they think that being a sponsored player is the best thing in the world. But as an amateur learning their game, there's not, the only benefit you get is validation from the sponsor, possible free product, things like that. If you are looking at the sponsorship as this is going to really help me, very rarely as an amateur are you going to get enough from that manufacturer sponsor for it to actually benefit you.
Yep.
It will be that hindrance like you talked about on the course. And the off the course benefits, I know y'all talked about, are massive. Like they're helping you financially to stay on tour, things like that. So I think there's a lot of benefits off the course, but as amateurs, you don't really get that opportunity. And I tell people all the time, like, you should try as many discs as you possibly can, because you never know when you're going to find that disc that changes your game. Like, I love the pig. I'm a disciple of the pig. I'll throw pigs till the cows come home. Realistically, I have only been throwing pigs since December of 2020.
Cool.
Not even December of 2020. Yeah, because I had an all trilogy bag the last half of 2020, and I switched to the pig, and I am so grateful I branched out and tried it out, because I throw the pig way better than I threw anything else. But I have handed many pigs to people, and they don't throw them as well as they throw a zone. That's a bummer for them, but.
Does it have a bead?
The pig does not have a bead. The pig with a bead is a Rhino. The Rhino glides a lot less than the pig, but it has a bead. So.
Okay, yeah, I don't like beads, so I might try pig out.
If you were to draw up like the perfect disc, it would be spelled PIG. But it's beadless. The big thing is the thumb track.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it has a thumb track, which makes it so when you're throwing forehands, you can really like lock it in. A lot of people love the pig for forehands. People get upset about pigs on backhands. I think they're crazy.
I bet Robbie could beat us all with a pig like New London Tech with our full bag.
I have taken lots of money from people on one disc rounds with a pig.
Hold on, what?
Whoa, Steven. Whoa, Steven. Whoa. Hot take alert. Hot take alert. But honestly, the harp is really good. There's a reason that every single trilogy player throws a harp. But
I
low
don't
key,
even think I've seen a harp around here.
the best approach disc in the trilogy lineup is the Slammer. Hot takes.
Yeah, I'm a zone guy.
Yeah. So the pig is a little deeper than a zone, but it's a great option. The pig also, Yeah, the zone is a 4-speed that throws like a proper 4-speed. Like I feel like the zone flies like a mid-range more than it flies like a putter. The pig gives me the flight of almost a mid-range. Like it flies about 20 to 30 feet short. That's not true. It flies about 50 feet shorter than mid-range, but you can still pump it and feel like you're actually throwing a putter.
Oh.
All right, so what is everybody here? What is your favorite Upshot disc?
Zone, nice.
Yeah, see, mine is the Soul. I love throwing the Soul.
Okay,
This right here, I know where it's going just about every time, unless I grip lock it.
that's a hot take. How's the Soul fly for you?
For me, it flies basically straight with a little turn
Little fade at the end. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Paige Pierce character, yeah, she seems to know what she's doing with them too.
What do you have, a judge?
You got a judge,
Prime judge.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, I dig that. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would be curious. Have you, for our Soul fan in the room, have you tried an Avr X3?
I have not. No.
So the pig is it's pretty stable. The Avr X3 is my like gateway drug into overstable approach discs.
Now remember, I am
cold?
maxing out at like 175 on my drives.
Oh, I stand by.
And
At that distance, I still stand by the Avr X3.
And my driver is a 4-speed.
Yeah. Oh no, I did a video for the Birdie Fam, my little Patreon community. I did a video for them that I called, it was Bommy McBomber versus Grandpa Leroy. And so Bommy McBomber, his bag is like all distance drivers and high speed junk. And he always runs it. He always goes for it. He is your stereotypical tool bag disc golfer. Grandpa Leroy plays in a blazer and like has a good time. Grandpa Leroy beat Bommy McBomber, and it wasn't staged. Like it truly was both of them. I tried to play the best character possible, and Grandpa Leroy threw a stingray on every single shot. Because you're just like
the reason I don't use other discs is one, when they get heavier for me, as like these are, was this like a 155 and this is like a 148. Actually I got that backwards. This is the 148. But one thing for me is when I try to throw it, it always comes out early.
Yeah.
And then when it does that, obviously it's nose up, it's going to turn and crash. I cannot keep them flat. I cannot get distance with it at all.
Yeah. So if I was given disc recommendations to move you past the Stingray, I would say, have you looked into Latitude 64's easy to use line?
No.
So Latitude 64 makes a phenomenal line of discs. They're all named after precious gems. You've got the putter is a ruby. The mid-range is a pearl. They have 2 fairway drivers that are the diamond and the jade.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a distance driver that's the sapphire. So my wife, not a distance thrower by any means, her bag is basically all Latitude 64. Hashtag sponsor her. And her bag is all Latitude 64, and most of it is the easy to use line. People get ashamed of that because of the tag on it. Not at all. My wife can easily clear 250 with the easy to use line.
Nice.
So check them out. They're lightweight. They are meant to be lightweight discs. They're all generally understable, but they're heavy and glide, and they're super easy to throw, and they're great learning discs, as well as they come in premium plastics too, so they last longer than your DX Stingrays are going to last. So the first one I would get is a pearl. I would get a pearl. It's got a panda on it, holding a little pearl.
You go get a mini pearl.
So a pearl and a diamond.
I never heard of that. That's cool.
Yeah, their line is awesome. I 100%. I work at a local disc golf shop in town, and I sell more of the easy to use line disc than I do any other disc in the entire shop, because people walk in, they're like, I'm new to the game. I'd like to throw far. And I'm like, all right.
I think, Derek, don't you throw a sapphire?
Yeah, I've got this sapphire. I've got a lot. 264s. I've been throwing Lat 264 for about 3 or 4 years now.
Cool.
I prefer their plastic, quite honest with you, like Warlock and it was something fire and something. I can't remember what the other one was. But yeah, I mean, they were all good to me.
Yeah, I used to have a river that I really liked. I lost it.
River's awesome.
Mhm.
I like the plastic on this dynamic disc now. Like the Judge and I'm really liking the way that feels in my hand.
The lucid
Yeah.
plastic.
It's just like when I tournament fish. You know, I've been in tournaments since 1999, and I had 8 sponsors, all that nonsense. It's a mess to keep up with the sponsors. But you know, when I had fishing and all, I basically about what felt good to me, what benefited my intention for this tournament.
Hmm.
You know, it's off clubs. I can go out here and buy a Callaway, but I probably know better than I can a Wilson. You know what I'm saying? I'm not brand specific. I'm solely specific in what fits my hand and what I can make perform the best of my ability.
Yeah.
So if it's buying one from the neighbors and Johnny Go Lucky disc number 3, I don't care.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you got to try what works for you, man. And you won't know until you try everything. That's so if you, I know Foundation's talking about opening up an actual storefront for y'all to shop in. I don't know if there are, and I don't know. Do they set up and vend at the league they host?
Yeah, the Tuesday night league. Yeah.
So, cool. What I would do is whenever they open the storefront, things like that, just raid the used bins and go get as many discs from the used bin as possible, because you may be rocking this mid-range that you've loved forever, and the next thing you know, you're going to try one out from a used bin for cheap, and holy cow, that's a game changer for you. If you've been enjoying the dynamic stuff, I would recommend checking out a Bounty. It's a new disc they released last year, and it is amazing. It might actually be my favorite mid-range of all time.
Yeah,
I threw bounties all over people.
Yeah, I threw as far as the mid range, like my truth, I think this one pretty good, about 240, 2.5. You know, it flies fairly straight and flat. It very seldom turns on me.
Yeah, and the bounty, you'd be able to throw in a little bit of hyzer and just watch it get that straight flight.
Okay,
so easy. And you could really crank on it if you put even more hyzer on it and watch it just boop, 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 sail for days.
That's what I need. The sails.
Yeah. Any disc you can hyzer flip. That's how you get that distance start going fast. That's probably, I think it's my second most popular video on my channel. It's like the easiest throw to get max distance. It's like super clickbaity, but it's a hyzer flip. People think like, if I want to throw far, I got to come over on the disc and yeet that thing full on. But no, it's way easier. You just take something understable and whoop, flip it up, and next thing you know, you're a bomber.
Right. Good deal.
You guys got any other questions?
When you plan on Lynchburg and playing some?
Right. Like I said, I didn't realize that Lynchburg was trying to be the disc golf capital of the world. It's funny. I've only been to Lynchburg twice. And both of them were to visit Liberty because I had friends staying at Liberty. And literally I thought to myself, this town has 2 things going for it. 1, Liberty. 2, sheets.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's all I thought y'all had. I was blissfully unaware how much good disc golf was around there. So we're trying to plan something special. We're coming up on that 20,000 subscriber mark on the channel. And so we are trying to plan something unique and special. But from what I hear, I don't want to come to Lynchburg. If I'm coming to Lynchburg, I got to come soon because it's about to get real cold real fast.
Well, about November, December.
Yeah.
But I play all year long. It's very seldom do I not play.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm with you. I love living in the South. It's terrible in the summer, but just wear some dry fit and like sweat through it all. Dry fit in a chalk bag, you can conquer anything.
Yeah. We usually end up with those Indian summers, and there's been days you could wear shorts at Christmas, and then there's days that you're bundled up.
Very bipolar. Yeah.
It all depends.
100%. Yeah. No, I feel that. I lived in Michigan for 3 years.
Ooh.
So I got used to, and I loved it. Like I love a cold winter. But I always laughed at my Michigan friends always made fun of me because it would be like 50 degrees and they're freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, it's so hot outside. Let's go. And I'm like, whoa, guys, this is not hot. You guys are crazy.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to have you up.
Yeah.
Take you to all these courses. Liberty's got 2 great courses on their own.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've got courses around here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Liberty has this course. It might be. I think it's a later hole in the course, but it's like massive looking downhill. And you like shoot a gap.
Both of their courses at Liberty has 2 straight downhill holes.
Hideaway, yeah.
Yeah, Hideaway and Liberty East.
Yeah.
The one at Liberty East goes right into was it the
soccer field?
Yeah, soccer field.
He might
So you go short of the soccer field.
Yeah, dude. And those are my favorite kind of holes because it's like the throw your bag kind of holes, where you're like, all right, I don't care what did. I'm just throwing it all.
Yeah.
This one's going to 8. No, this one's going to 8. No, this one's going to 8. And you're like, oh, now I got to pick up like 12 discs.
Yeah. Now, we have some great places around here. Try to venture out and tackle as much as we can. I pretty much played all of them within the 20-mile radius.
Yeah, I got to play Independence in Bedford. I got to play that one sometime soon and just donate one into the Hole 1 water, I guess.
Big water carry.
1 and 18, if that's not bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Bedford, is that the one you're talking about? Like Hole 1, you literally like rip it over the water. I know Foundation's done like I think they did one with like Gannon Burr on that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Independence Park. Yeah.
But at one time it was called Venhurst, and now it's Independence.
Because it's on the first road, that's why.
Yeah.
Very cool course.
I haven't played that one yet. I got to get out there and chuck some into the woods up there.
That's the spirit. Walk in. Don't walk in saying if I hit a tree. Walk in saying I'm going to laugh when I hit a tree, and you're going to have a great time, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll be laughing.
Yeah, and there will be some other things coming out of my mouth at that point.
No, I feel that. Like I said, I haven't. We're in full construction mode at the house, and so my wife made fun of me yesterday because I snuck away during the middle of the day to go play around just to stay loose. I'm about to hit my big tournament stretch, so I wanted to stay loose, whatever. And I went and played that course I was talking about, that real tough. And my wife made fun of me. She was like, "Really, just easing back into it, aren't you?" Why not? Why not smack some trees? I got some new discs in the bag. I like to break them in.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I did watch that video where you beat in your disc.
Dude,
that was awesome.
I've got a new Valkyrie that's going in the bag that I was like, "Oh, this thing is beautiful." And I'm about to go play a course that has a lot of water carries. And so I'm trying to make sure that I have several discs prepped and ready.
I haven't thrown this one yet.
Is that the Passion?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've got another one that I've been trying to throw a little bit, but this one I really like. So I'm like, I'm going to set you back over here for a while. And at some point, you may make it to the course. Maybe not.
This is my current one that I'm trying to like beat to death. Is this it's one of the new tour series Barsby's, and it is she's still so sometimes I'll just sit here reading and watching YouTube and just bend her. But
just give it the what for.
Yeah. I've not gotten to the point where I run it over with my car yet, but I'm close.
Well, you saw the Foundation guys did recently.
Oh yeah, that killed.
A little hairspray and fire on it.
Wild. I'm not that desperate. yet.
I'm like, all right, I do want to talk about before we shut it down today, unless we got more stuff to talk about, you guys let me know. Because I do want to talk about the last week's tournament and then the tournament coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, I do want to ask you this. What tier tournaments are you playing?
So I play a lot. I'll play a lot of C tiers. I start off my year with a lot of C tiers. And then I'm about to hit a massive stretch of A and B tiers kind of wrapped together. So I've got next week I'm playing an A tier in Tupelo, Mississippi. The next weekend I'm playing an A tier in Nashville, the Music City Open. So playing that one, and then I'm playing that. I got a week off, and then I'm playing it's a B or a C tier. I don't know. They basically shut down a local downtown area. And they set up a temporary course through downtown. They get a bunch of like parade permits and things like that. And so you're literally like playing down city streets. So
awesome.
It's called the Downtown Jasper Throwdown. So excited for that one. It's a B or a C tier. I can't remember. And yeah, right. And then got a few weeks off, and then I'll be heading to Austin, Texas for, I'm not sure what tier it is. I guess A tier, but the NADGT, the National Amateur Disc Golf Tour, National Amateur Disc Golf Tour Championships. So I'll be playing that in Austin, and then at the weekend after that is a C tier. So yeah, it's going to be a wild little stretch, and we figured why not start off that wild stretch by destroying our house. It's fine. It's fine.
Great idea.
But no, I love playing C tiers. I know sponsors don't like me playing C tiers, but I like playing C tiers. I think it's a lot of fun. The B tiers and the A tiers are awesome. Playing a tee time is just a different vibe. But it's also, it's a lot of fun. My favorite part about tournaments is meeting people. 100%. I spend a lot of people when they go to tournaments like to walk around and follow lead MPO card. I love following lead rec card. It is my favorite people to follow because lead rec card way more entertaining and exciting than lead MPO card. And not like, that's not me going and being like, oh yeah, they're bad. Like I'm not saying that vibe at all. It is truly the lead card in rec pulls off some shots that you're like, holy cow, that is amazing. And then that same player also steps up and misses a putt that you're like, holy cow, how did they miss that? Right? Like, what? So a lot of my like coaching and stuff that I do is with that crowd. And so yeah, I learn a lot watching that crowd, and it just gives me constant reminders. And it's humbling as well because lots of rec players can outdrive me. Great. Lots of rec players can outputt me. But like I said, they usually don't beat me because mental. So it gives me nice inspiration for future stuff.
Good.
So in all of those A tiers, I'll spend a lot of time walking with rec cards.
Nice. Well, I mean, you would love watching me because when I throw this, it can wreck all kinds of stuff.
Oh boy.
That's awesome.
I break this up, but I'm gonna have to get out of here. Robbie, it was great talking to you.
Absolutely.
Hopefully one day we can get you up here and you can come play.
I would love to.
That'd be great. Derek, I will get your picks for this week later.
Yeah, you're gonna have to because that 4:30 mighty early, and
Amen.
Derek, thanks for hanging out with me, man.
See you, bud.
It's all good, guys. Y'all soon. Good luck, peace. Up y'all. We'll see you.
See you, man.
Adios.
First off, I love watching I have this kind of self-deprecating joke that I like watching the FPO better because they're closer to my game. And that's the equivalent of saying I like watching NASCAR better than Indy cars because they drive about as fast as I do. Yeah, they Indy cars are driving about 220 miles an hour. NASCAR about 185. Me 60.
Yeah.
I love it.
So when I watch the women play, I mean, and I've said this, the lady that has the worst score of the week would still absolutely humiliate me. But I love watching them play, and I'm a big advocate for the women's tour, and I want to see more women out there. So whenever I get a chance, I always watch them first.
Dude, absolutely, man. I think people definitely overlook FPO. I think FPO is great. I think it's phenomenal coverage. They get better every single time.
Yep.
And I'm with you. Disc selection that the FPO players make is way more accurate to what we should be picking than MPO.
Well, it's something that I learned back when I trained mixed martial arts is women are so much more technical about how they do things and so much more particular about, okay, my arm's here, my arm comes through, I got to do this, with the punching, here, I got to be very, and guys just like,
100%.
I mean, and when you watch the women play, you see them very technical about what they're doing. And I learn a lot from both sides, but I learn a lot more from watching the women play.
Oh, yeah.
And this past week, Katrina Allen, she's on a little bit of a roll again. She kind of struggled there for a few tournaments. Now she's coming back.
Yeah, she got crowned to be a world champion, and she was like, I don't need to try anymore.
Yep. Yep. But one of the things that I don't know if you guys saw the press conference for the Green Mountain. Paige, she said, well, of course she ran away with it. She had no competition at the end. And then she said, I was more worried about putting on a show for the people than winning the tournament.
Dang.
I was like, wow. That kind of caught me off guard because usually when I see Paige, she will, after a tournament, if she loses, she will post on Instagram congratulating the winner and then talking about her sponsors and things. And this time she did not actually even congratulate Kat in this tournament.
Yeah.
Do we have an issue here? Is there turmoil between these two extremely talented ladies?
Yeah, I don't think necessarily, like, I think you could read into it and maybe but I know that it's Paige posted, I can't remember what day she posted it. It may have been the same day. But Paige recently got crowned the #1 FPO player in the world.
Yep.
And her post about it talked about how she was excited to have that title again. It meant so much to her, and that she was why she liked it is that she expected herself to win every single event, because that's what holding the title means. She is not the underdog, and people should expect her to win. So it's interesting. I think maybe what part of it wasn't even necessarily Katrina and beef with Katrina, but more so like the distraction of, okay, I don't have to post about that because I'm now more focused trying to move forward to own this whole I'm #1 player in the world thing. And try to I think Paige all year has tried to own the narrative of her own story. It's why she was playing bad. And then she's like, well, I'm not feeling 100% confident in my game. So she left and went to Hawaii. And then she came back and she played really well. And she was like, well, yeah, because I'm way more confident than I've ever been. But she also didn't really have any major competition. And so then Kristen came in and Kristen started whooping. And suddenly Paige was off again. And so I think Paige is dealing with a lot more mental issues than we're giving credit to this season. And I don't know what it is, but I think that has to do with it. And so, yeah, it's just a little odd. And when your #1 rival that is basically the only person who can challenge you beats you, that's salt in the wound. Like, we don't see Ricky congratulate Paul after a win, and we don't see it go the other way. So I'm fine not expecting it out of FBO either.
Yeah.
If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's just a shock for me though, because I usually see these women after the tournament, they all hug, smile, high five, and it's just like, ooh, wait a minute,
So
little drama. Could it be? Could it be as simple as I got this disc to support Paige's documentary? Could it be she's got cameras following her all the time?
well, another point I was thinking about is how we're trying to transition disc golf from this like friends playing against friends to competitors playing against competitors.
Mhm.
And so yeah, this might be part of that transition of like creating these rivalries
Mhm.
and hatred, like Cowboys versus Redskins, Virginia versus
Excuse
Tech.
me. What was that? Cowboys versus the football team?
The Washington football team.
The football team?
Well, yeah,
Censor,
that one.
censor.
The history of it.
Yeah.
So you guys know what I'm saying, though. Like we're trying to transition out of this like friends playing against friends. It's still hard because even the commentators are like best buddies with the guys, and they're like pulling for them, like, "Oh, come on, get that," or "Come on, make this," or "Come on, do that." And you don't see that commentary in other sports because it's more professional versus less friendships and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of another point. It's like interesting seeing us grow and trying to transition into that more professionalism. And
I would say I liked it. I thought it was cool to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just really caught me by
Shocked
surprise.
So.
I was like, oh, look at that. And it still blows my mind how Paige, I mean, I don't know how big she is. She looks absolutely tiny. And she's throwing like 450 off the tee box. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Proper form, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And the lady that I'm looking for, and I just feel like next year after, she's going to take that next big leap, is Ella Hansen. Absolutely love watching her play.
927 rated already. 927 rated already. 1 year into it.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Just coming out of Ultimate, what, 2 years ago or so?
Yeah, last year. Pandemic shut it down.
Wow. That's awesome. But I mean, because I remember the first time I saw her play, she was on a card, might have been with Kat and Paige in the first round of a tournament. The first few holes, I'm like, this lady, she should not be on this card. After about the fourth or fifth hole, I'm like, okay, this lady, she can play.
This lady will whoop my tail.
And I really, really enjoyed watching her play. But one of the things that actually, those discs just do not want to stay where I want them. But I did want to talk about Haley King. Her last round, I know she took some tournaments off because she said she just wasn't having fun and she just needed a break. And I believe this was her first tournament back. And that last round, it just looked like she was absolutely miserable. And then she said in the press conference, she said there were some things going on people don't know about. And, I just wanted to get off the course as fast as I could. And now she's saying she's better. She feels good. She's ready to play this week. So I'm like, all right, good. Because I was kind of worried because I know a lot of athletes, they have those, I'm not a lot of people, not just athletes. They'll have the mental issues that they won't speak of. Yeah. And I'm just hoping that she's all right. I was worried about her because I care about people.
100%, man. Yeah. I think we got to remember that Haley King is 19 years old.
Somebody else told me that too.
Right? Like she's 19 and I can't imagine what it would be like competing with that many eyes on you, being 19, trying to like mature myself. So I think when you're 19 years old, some weeks you're feeling it, some weeks you're not. And like the fact that she gets out and dominates when she does, 100%. I think that Haley King could walk in and win the DGPT finals again this year, and no one would be shocked.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's like I was telling Daryl, it's just we expect these people to be superstars or superhuman, really, and they're just humans as us. So, got to remember that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I look at her, and if she stays the course, in 3 years, she will be where Paige is now. I feel like she can be the dominant player out there.
Yeah.
She is so gifted.
Well, and she throws farther than Paige already. So
that I did not realize.
Yeah. Haley King throws super far. And Paige obviously throws far. Katrina throws far.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to pick a number 4 that throws far, Ella Hansen in FPO.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they throw so far, and Kona also bombs. If you didn't see the video, it's like Jomez did it or something, I think. And they're all trying to like hit certain distances. It's Kona, Katrina, Paige, Kona, Katrina, Holly Finley, and one other person, but I can't remember who it is. But they all get out there and try to like hit certain distances. And in that video, you realize like, oh, snap. Kona and Katrina can throw far.
Yeah, I really look forward to the day when we get Hannah Bloomrose, Evelina Salonen, which I'm probably butchering her name. If I am, I do apologize. Kristen Tatar. I mean, she came over, kicked butt, went back.
Absolutely, man.
And there's another lady that was from Estonia. I think her name's Katie something. And she threw in a shot from like 400. I was like, are you kidding me?
They bomb.
In the European Open, I was like, that is insane. Because I think they said it was right around 150 meters. So that we're looking at like 450 plus. I'm like, get out of town.
Wild.
So I really want to see all those ladies come over because I think Paige, sometimes I might be wrong. Sometimes maybe she gets bored just being so much better than everybody.
Absolutely.
But on the lady side, who do you guys got this week?
Who do I have?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just to win it.
Yeah.
I think. See, I've already seen the first round, so after seeing Katrina play so well, I feel like she can hold it off. So I'll just say Katrina again.
Yeah, but even before seeing results for today, I would have picked Katrina anyways. Katrina won this event several times, so she feels really familiar out here.
She only won that one time by 16 strokes, but who's paying attention?
Yeah, right. Largest margin of victory on a disc golf pro tour ever, I think. Yeah, so I think that Katrina feels super comfortable out there. So.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's always two people. It's either Kat or Paige. I mean, I agree. I think Kat is just finding a rhythm right now.
Yeah, my number 2 is actually Sarah Hokum.
I love Sarah Hokum.
I think Sarah could pull it out.
I picked her on the thing.
The Grip 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lovingly refer to her as the queen of the forehand.
I was bummed to see her first throw for MVP just straight in the drink. Had a headwind and she just whoop, and it just dove straight in the water.
Whoops. I don't know how she throws so far. It baffles me.
It's awesome. That gyro, man.
She looks like she's barely moving, but it's that body rotation bringing it through. That nice snap at the end. It's like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Love watching her play. But yeah. So we all got the same there. On the guys, Adam Hammis came through with a win, which I know I'm probably missing his name up too.
I think it's Hammis, yeah.
And Paul, where is Paul? Paul seems to have been struggling lately.
He's way down in 10th place.
Not Ulibarri. I know you were thinking Ulibarri. You know, I love watching Paul Ulibarri on the practice rounds. Absolutely love it.
Oh yeah.
I think that Paul is just having a lot more competition, a lot more people getting better, or is that a word? Getting better. You got people, you got Ricky all of a sudden back from the dead from Lyme disease. You got people getting super, super, super good while Paul's in his prime. People are reaching their prime. And I think he's got still a lot of distractions, you know, businesses he's running and foundations and even married life, and he has to
going all over the world creating courses.
Course design,
which I love that. I love that foundation.
The dude drives his RV everywhere. He doesn't fly or get anybody else to drive. He drives, so yeah. I'll give him 10th place or 11th place every now and then.
Yeah. I think Paul mentioned it, and it just shows such a focus on why I stress it so much with beginners. Because I did get a chance to catch some of the press conference yesterday, and Paul got asked like, all right, so when you had, like, it used to be just you and Ricky, but now it's not. So what's going on? What's the parity? And Paul actually said, I think it could go back to that. Like, I really do, but my putting is bad. So Paul is looking at his putting and saying that it's off right now. And I think we've seen that. Like, the tournaments that Paul is winning and placing well in, his putt is phenomenal. His drives haven't lost anything. I feel like he's not really that off in a lot of places. I know his last round at Idlewild, he was off. But his drives are looking great. It's that putting. If you can't get in the basket, doesn't matter how good your drives are. And Paul would tell you that's why they made such a big deal about it on the commentary. He changed his putt, and now he's changing it back. And
he's going back to it. Huh?
Yeah, so it's wild, man. But that's why I think where I think Paul is. And I agree with Todd. Like, it's all about how many plates Paul is spinning. He got so many things going when the world shut down in 2020 that I think with 2021 everything's back. He's like, oh snap! I don't know how I'm supposed to do all this.
It's crazy. He's still human.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think he's one of those people that, I mean, anybody can have that bad day, but when you're Paul Macbeth, people just take it more than others. Like, oh, he's lost it. He's lost it. I'm like, just, on any given week, he can be first on any given week. I don't think that week is this week though.
Yeah. So who you got this week?
I'm going. Gosh, I mean, I hate to go with someone I feel is toward the top, but I got to go with Eagle. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
Again, I have not looked at any of the scores, so there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris Dickerson's taking it down.
I like Dickerson too.
Dude, Chris could do it. This course sets up really well for him. I'll tell you, seeing the first round, I guarantee you, if you would have asked who would be if you could name one person that you're like, I bet they're on lead card after day one, I guarantee you that they are not on lead card.
Yep.
This will be the most interesting lead card we have had, I'm going to say, all year.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm so confident in this, I'll let you pick 3 people who you think are on lead card, and I bet none of the 3 you would pick are on that lead card.
I still haven't looked.
You look.
I have not looked. I have not looked. I mean, you got Harley Quinn right there. You got Harley. I have not looked.
Yeah,
and Harley's right over here too with her friends.
I love it.
I mean, to me, on any course, I would say Ricky, Eagle, and Calvin. That's kind of would be like my go-to 3. My 4th would, if I had to pick a dark horse, even though I don't think he's a dark horse, would be Simon.
Okay, so you ready?
Am I 0 for 4?
0 for 4, 100%. Ricky is tied for 9th.
Top 10 finish.
Yeah, he's tied for 9th. Let's see. I'm looking for Calvin is tied for 21st.
Ooh.
Let's see. Razat is tied for 67th.
Come on, Simon.
And Eagle is tied for 79th.
Wow. I'm going to say that I may not have the winner this week.
Eagle is 10 strokes back of the lead right now.
Oh, he's right in the big things. 4 rounds.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I 4 rounds. The fact that we have this lead card is great for today, but it's changing.
Yeah.
Your lead card right now is Chandler Fry, Matty O, Michael Johansson, and Zach Melton.
Roll Tide.
Unpopular opinion. I'm not a fan of Matty O.
Roll Tide.
And I hate the way he putts.
Oh, that's fair. The Serpent Strike.
I hate that. Hey, I mean, I'm sure I'm sure he's an awesome guy. I'm sure he's someone that if you're there, you're talking to him, he's probably a really good human being. But just 100%. The way he putts, I don't know.
Unknown fact about Matteo, you kind of guess it. You kind of catch it in some of his interviews that he's been doing a lot lately. But Matteo actually names all of his putters after starting Alabama quarterbacks.
Come on, Julio.
That's another reason right there. I was watching that practice run with Jomez, and I mean, It wasn't 5 minutes in. He had mentioned every head coach in the history of Alabama, and every third word was Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Stop it,
dude.
I think that might actually be the real reason I don't like it.
Alabama pride, man. Matteo's our guy.
Not the putter.
Matteo is our guy.
Let's go Hoos.
So,
we can participate in football. That's as far as we do. We participate.
I love it.
We got a college championship in basketball right here behind me.
Hey, come on. My pick to win is Calvin this week.
I hope so. I've been pulling for Calvin. He doesn't have a win, does he, this year? He
technically has a Silver Series win. And yeah, he's got a Silver Series win that he won like vintage or something. And then also the whole debacle that went down with Ledgestone, where the last round got canceled. Him and Ricky were tied. They played off on Gatekeeper's channel. And if you haven't watched those 2 videos, there's a front 9 and a back 9 of them playing at Idlewild. I'm biased because Calvin's my favorite player of all time. But some of the best disc golf content that's out there. They joke so much during the round, and it's so good.
The smack talk there was beautiful.
It's so good.
I loved it.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
so I was on my honeymoon or something.
Yeah, they jokingly. So it was like I'm trying to remember how it was on the Skins match where I found out about it, because on the Skins match for Idlewild. On hole 1, they actually let Calvin and Ricky play through because Gatekeeper was filming them doing their like playoff for the trophy.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
And Ricky had it in his van the whole time.
Yeah, like just bouncing around this crystal, like glass looking trophy, and it's just.
That's a really nice trophy. I mean, that's better than some of them. Like I used to say, it's a piece of wood. Thanks.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me ask you this: disc golf in the Olympics, would you be for or against it?
I'm
surprised. Wow. Okay.
I want to say for because exposure is always helpful. My only con of going against is that I feel like half the sports that exist in the Olympics, people consider niche sports. And if it's a real sport, it doesn't go to the Olympics, or what some people view. Like, oh, you play beach volleyball? Oh, cool. I guess you only like matter when Olympics come around. And people like don't even realize that swimming happens all the time. Things like that. And so my worry would be that if disc golf was in the Olympics, that people would view it in that light rather than, hey, we can do this all the time.
I mean, for me, if I was a professional player and I had a shot at an Olympic gold medal,
100%.
In a heartbeat, I would go for that. In a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. I think the other trouble would be like, I think it would throw off the rhythm. Granted, it's only every 4 years, but I think it would throw off a lot of rhythms that they try to establish. And so you'd have to like, there'd be a lot of loopholes to jump through, because at this point, disc golf's still new, but there's a lot of tournaments that feel really well established. And so people get really upset when their tournament doesn't happen. And for the Olympics to take precedent, there would have to be like a pause that would exist. And there's still events that didn't happen this year that people are upset about. So,
well, the NHL, they have already announced that next Winter Olympics, they will put a pause on. So every player that wants to play in the Olympics and their country wants them, that they will do it. They will take like a 2-week break.
Yeah, I love that.
Maybe we're looking like 50 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it going 10, 15 for sure. I think we've got a long way to go. Hot take, I think cornhole gets to the Olympics faster than disc golf.
Funny you say that, because someone said people, because people in disc golf, they know disc golf. People outside of disc golf, I've been playing disc golf during the pandemic. Like,
huh?
What is that?
Frisbee golf? You a frolfer?
Yeah, but you go to ESPN, you got you some cornhole.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, one of my first ever sponsors that I had was Airwolf Athletics. They're a disc golf, or they're an athletics retailer, but most of the people that they actually get traction with are all professional cornhole players.
That's awesome.
It's crazy, man.
The first time I saw that, I'm like, am I watching ESPN, the O Show?
Right? Like, I mean, I've got a set of like professional cornhole bags, and they're nuts, dude. Like, they're super well balanced. They've got a fast side, they've got a slow side. Like, that's blows my mind. But it's the same concept of if you put a disc in someone's hand and you're like, if I throw this flat, this disc is going to go like hard right, and this disc is going to go hard left. And people are like, huh? It's just a frisbee. I don't know what you're saying. And it's fine. Yeah, I hate you.
I like taking the bean bag like by the corner and just flinging it like.
Let it just.
I like seeing this.
Yeah, dude. I'm fully convinced that if you don't have a koozie in your hand, you are not going to play cornhole well. So I don't understand how all these people are sitting there with like the bag and they're like,
yeah,
tossing in their hand there.
Yeah, it's like a hot potato.
I will say though, as a push putter or like that pendulum toss, I have learned that I'm actually really good at cornhole now. The more that I develop my disc golf putt, because it's 30 footers all day. You're just like whoop, and then it's wild. It's wild.
And I have noticed on ESPN, every team that's in the cornhole tournaments are always from the Southeast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like the SEC, they own that. If you're in the Pac-10 or Pac-12, just don't even try.
Yeah, no.
Just go back to your beach volleyball.
100%. 100%. I'll tell you another state that low-key has a really big cornhole scene, Hawaii.
Nebraska.
Oh.
Who was that?
Hawaii.
Really?
Hawaii has a massive cornhole scene. But then you think about it.
I mean, I guess the way they do the hula stuff. You know.
How often you can go outside and like just chill and toss cornhole. There's not a winter that they're really worried about. Like you're not going to be in Michigan where you're like, all right, we can only do cornhole this week inside.
They do it outside of the stadium in Ann Arbor, and that's it.
100%. 100%. We're not going to talk about Lansing. Stinking Spartans.
Yes. I don't really refer to them much because of some of their doctors and physicians. You know, I don't.
I love it.
And if you don't know, you don't need to know. Todd, I'll explain it to you later.
Okay.
Man.
Let's see. You guys got anything else we want to discuss tonight? I've had a very good time, and I must confess I did not expect it to go to cornhole.
You never know these things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm pretty excited to be watching some of these videos on your channel, man.
Man, I hope they help. The main thing I tell people is I hope they're helpful and entertaining. And if there's ever anything that you're like, hey, I would love to see a video on this or something like that, I'd be more than happy to talk about that. But you got me going. What's that?
Side Hill Lies.
Side Hill Lies. Yeah. Like
Because we talked about, I messaged you one time about that because around here at Peaksview Park, almost everything is on a little bit of a hill. And I'm like trying to maintain balance and try to get a good throw.
Sure.
So that's always a little bit of a challenge there for me.
Yeah, I will. I'll look at that, but I will tell you, I wrote down on my I have a little notepad or a little notepad app, and I wrote down the world of expectations, like a video on expectations, expectations, and I wrote down routines. Because I think a lot of players are very similar in that, they don't think about routines when it comes to conditioning themselves to play well. And if they think about routines, they only think about them on the putting green.
Yep.
And we need them everywhere. So I've enjoyed it, y'all. Thank y'all for having me on. It's been an honor.
Thank you. Thank you for being on. If you ever want to come on again, just throw me a message. You're always welcome.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, man. Well, it was a pleasure meeting both of y'all. And yeah, look forward to seeing y'all again.
Thanks,
I'll let y'all know about the Lynchburg thing.
All right, cool.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to have you up here and be like, Daryl, you're doing everything completely wrong. You just need to stop.
Nah, I never do that. People get super intimidated. They're like, I don't want to play with Robbie because he's just going to judge me the whole time. Like, he's going to tell me how bad I am. I'm like, do you watch literally any of my videos? Like, no, I'm here to have fun, have a good time. Like, I don't want you to feel any pressure. So it's all good. I'll tell you, my favorite thing to do when people play with me is I actually don't love using my discs. If they're really worried about them, I'm just like, sick. I'll just use yours. Like, whatever disc you're not using, we'll just make it work. And they're like, oh. So then I'm goofing off the whole time because I'm throwing discs I don't know how to throw and trying to make it work. So I love throwing a Stingray, but I guarantee if I threw your 148 gram Stingray, it would not go well.
It's a work of art, that thing is now.
Absolutely.
It's beaten in, faded. It's a beauty.
Come on. The beauty of our game. So, well, hey, I hope y'all have a great night. And thank you once again for having me on. Look forward to seeing y'all in the future.
God bless.
That's all we got. You guys have an incredible day.